Right guys, welcome back, and in this video we will be learning about local and global variables. So let's start off by creating a new project. I will call the project local global, and let's open up our source code here, and let's start off by defining a function. For example, let's define a function that doesn't return anything. So we have the type void, return type void. We do not return anything. And then we want to, for example, let's print, let's have this function print hello. And so what this function will do is that it will have a string, and it will be hello string. And this string will say hello. And then we will print hello string. All right, build and run. Let's see what we get. Well, we get, oh yeah, and then we can actually invoke this function, print hello. Here, and remove this. Build and run. And you have hello. Wonderful. However, you realize that this variable here, hello string, it is only available inside the function. If I try to access hello string here, it will not work. So if I try to, for example, print hello string here, you see it doesn't work. And the reason is because hello string only exists in this function. It is a local variable. So here we have a local variable. And then we can have another function here. For example, let's just call this test, and this will just cout test like this. I mean, this function can have its own variables. For example, a equal to 0, and we are able to use a in here, but we're not able to use a, for example, in here, because a only lives here. So this is very important to realize that we have different scopes. And so let's try test, build and run. Hello string, of course, doesn't exist here, and we build and run, and you see we have hello and then test 0. So it seems to work, and this variable is available only here but not outside, and this variable is available only here but not outside. But then you can also have global variables. So if you define a variable outside the main function and outside all other functions, you just define it here at the top, you can say that you can have int global number equal to 10, like this. And here you can now use this global number in all functions, So this is quite handy actually, but it is also dangerous. Like this. So you see, we're able to use a variable that is defined globally in this manner, and you see hello global number 10, test global number 10, and now this variable is available in all functions, and it is even available in the main functions. For example, if you want to cout global, you see global number pops up, it is available. So what we have here is that we have local variable, we have a local variable here, and then we have a global variable. And the reason why global variables are they are convenient, but they are dangerous. And they can cause some really serious bugs that are hard to find, and the code that you write with a lot of global variables is also hard to test. And the reason is because any of these functions can change this. For example, I can have this function just change global number to 4, like this. And currently when we have such a small program, it is very easy to see exactly who changed this global variable, because you only have like 2 functions. But imagine you have a huge program, you have many files, you have many functions, and you it might be hard for you to track exactly who changes this global variable because it is so accessible to everyone and anyone can change it. But yes, it is convenient because it is convenient to just have it here and anyone can access, anyone can change it. So you kind of have this trade-off between convenience and good software practices. And generally, you do not want to use global variables. You want, of course, sometimes they are just needed, but in many cases you want to avoid them as much as possible and only use local variables and then pass variables between functions. But in some cases you cannot avoid them. In some cases they are a good thing also, but just keep in mind that sometimes it's good to avoid global variables if you are able to, if you can find some other way to do it where you can actually control exactly who changes that variable. Because in this case anyone can change it in all functions. So guys, something else that is important is that we can have local and global variables on different levels. So I mean, we discussed about functions, and we can also talk about scope. So global variables are available in all functions, local variables are only available in their specific scope here. So for example, let's say that we have an int a, let's have int b equal to 10, and then we have this condition: if b less than 20, do this. So you see, when we open these brackets, we enter a new scope. So for example, if I define a new variable here, I define int hello equal to 30 and I print hello to the console, you realize that this hello variable, it only lives inside here. If I try to print hello outside, it won't work. So if I build and run, you see this hello variable, it only lives inside this scope. So when we're talking about global and local variables, realize that whenever you have a function and you have local variables in the function, also realize that if you have a local variable inside a specific scope, inside some specific curly brackets, it will only be available inside of these curly brackets. And therefore, this hello variable only lives inside here and does not live here. It is non-existent here. Therefore, we can, if we remove this, you see that now it actually prints 30. Perfect. But it only lives inside here. And so the same is, of course, if you have else and you, and you do something here and you have int ice cream equal to 40, cout ice cream. Ice cream only lives in here and nowhere else. It doesn't live in here, it doesn't live in here, only in here. So guys, I hope you understand more about scope, I hope you understand more about global and local variables, and I hope you also understand why in some cases global variables are a bit dangerous and why it might be a good idea to use as few global variables as possible. So that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.